Okay, welcome back to another video on the Math channel. It's your teacher Mr. Lim here, and in today's video we are going to be looking at 4 types of relations. So by the end of this lesson you'll be able to understand what is meant by the descriptions or by the terms one-to-one, one-to-many, many-to-one, many-to-many. But before we do this, I want you to work on these recap questions. So we've got the 8 questions that we've done previously. I want you to just pause the video and use the vertical line test to find which of the following graphs represent functions and which ones are just normal relations. So pause the video, and when you're ready, continue to play the video. Okay, so in question A, this parabola passes the vertical line test because anywhere that we draw a vertical line, it will only cut the graph once. So this is our function. For question B, not anywhere will it cut it once only. So here will cut it once, here will cut it once. But right here, it cuts the graph twice. And so it fails the vertical line test, and therefore this one is just a relation. In question C, we can see anywhere that we draw a vertical line will cut the graph once only. So this is a function. In question D, we can see that here, it cuts the graph twice, here as well. Okay. So it fails the vertical line test, so this is just a normal relation. Question E, vertical line cuts it more than once, so this is just a relation. Question F, anywhere we draw a vertical line, it will only cut the graph once, so this is a function. Question G, cuts it twice here, so it's a relation. And question H, anywhere we draw a vertical line, cuts it once only, so this is a function. Okay. So if it passes the vertical line test, it's a function. So if a graph passes the vertical line test, where every number in the domain corresponds to exactly one number in the range, the graph is a function. Okay, so if we have a look at these examples, right, let's have a look at A, for example. No matter what x is, it will correspond to only one y value. So for every x input, there's only one y output. Okay. Whereas for question B, for example, for an x input of whatever that is, okay, whatever number that is, will give us two y outputs. And that's why it's not a function. So if a function also passes the horizontal line test, where every number in the range corresponds to exactly one number in the domain, so the opposite, it is known as a one-to-one function. If it fails the horizontal line test, however, so if we draw a horizontal line and it cuts the graph more than once, then it is known as a many-to-one function. So let's have a look at a few examples. Here I've got 4 examples for a one-to-one function. Okay. So it passes the vertical line test. No matter where we draw a vertical line, it will only cut it once. And it also passes the horizontal line test because anywhere that we draw a horizontal line, it will only cut the graph once. Same with this one. We've got, it passes the vertical line test, therefore function. But it also passes the horizontal line test. Anywhere that we draw a vertical line, a horizontal line, it only cuts the graph once. Same for this one. Passes vertical line test, also passes horizontal line test. Okay, and so we can see here that every X input produces only one Y output, and vice versa. Okay? So that is why all of these are 1 to 1, because one X input only produces one Y output. Whereas here, these all pass the vertical line test too. Okay, no matter where we draw on this graph, on these graphs, it only cuts the graph once. However, if we were to draw a horizontal line, it might cut the graph or intersect the graph more than once, which means that it is a many-to-one function. So we can see here, for example, at x is, let's go with y. When y is 1, okay, it produces two x values, minus 2 and 2. Or we can say it's a many-to-one function because many x inputs give the same one output. So here, minus 2, an input of minus 2, and an input of 2, they both produce one output of y equals 1. Okay? And so here we've got an example of it being mapped. So minus 2 and 2, they both map to a y value of 4. Or x inputs of minus 1 and 1 both map to an output, a y output of 2. So many x inputs output to one y value. Okay. And for example, this one here, we have when x is minus 2, 0, and 3, they all give an output of 0. Okay, the y value is 0 for each of these. So we can see here there are many x inputs, minus 2, 0, and 3, that all give the one output of y equals 0. So in the recap questions, we identified the graphs below as functions. I want you to specify which type of function they are below. So just pause the video and tell me, is it a one-to-one function or is it a many-to-one function? Okay, so question A, they all pass, because we know it's a function because they all pass the vertical line test. Now all we need to do is see if they pass the horizontal line test. Nope, it doesn't pass the horizontal line test because the horizontal line cuts the graph twice. Therefore, it's a many-to-one function. C, anywhere we draw a horizontal line cuts it only once, so it's a one-to-one. Here, cuts it 3 times, so it's a many-to-one. And here, anywhere we cut along the graph, it only cuts it once, so it's a one-to-one. Okay. However, if a graph fails the vertical line test, it means it's not a function, it's just a normal relation. Okay, so just remember, all mappings are relations. However, there are special types of relations that are called functions, and that's only when it passes the vertical line test. Okay, but if it doesn't pass the vertical line test, we just call it a normal relation. So if a relation passes the horizontal line test, it is known as a one-to-many relation. However, if it also fails the horizontal line test, so if it fails the vertical and horizontal line test, it is known as a many-to-many function relation. Many-to-many relation. Okay, so what does that look like? Here I've got 4 examples of each. If we have a look at this graph here, it fails the vertical line test. So we know it's a relation, but is it one-to-many or is it many-to-many? Well, if we were to draw horizontal lines anywhere, it only cuts it once. Therefore, it's a one-to-many relation. Okay. What that means is, if we have one input of x equals 2, it will give us 2 y outputs, or many y outputs. Okay, or if we put in one x input of 4, it's going to give us 2 y outputs of 2 and minus 2. So it's a one-to-many relation. Same with this semicircle here. Okay, if we were to, we know it fails the vertical line test, but it passes the horizontal line test. So it's a one-to-many. As is this one. Fails vertical line test, so we know it's a relation, but passes horizontal line test, only cuts it once, anywhere on the graph, therefore one-to-many. And here we see y squared is equal to x, or x is equal to y squared, is one-to-many, because one x input gives us 2 y outputs, 2 or more, okay? In this case, it's 2. And here we've got another 4 examples of many-to-many relations. So we can see it fails the vertical line test, and it also fails the horizontal line test. This one here fails vertical line test and fails the horizontal line test. Fails vertical line test, fails horizontal line test. Okay, so we can see that each of these graphs are many-to-many relations. Alright, so in the recap questions before, we identified these graphs below as relations. I want you to tell me what kind of relations they are. Are they one-to-many or many-to-many? Pause the video, have a go yourselves. Okay, so question B, we know that they all fail the vertical line test, so the only thing we really need to do is test the horizontal line test. Fails, so it's many-to-many. Passes all of them, one-to-many. Passes all of them, one-to-many. Passes all of them, one-to-many. Okay. I want you to now pause the video and see if you can complete this flowchart diagram by yourselves. And when you're ready to check your answers, please do. Okay, so this is the first question that you should always ask yourself. Does the graph pass the vertical line test? If yes, it's a function. If no, we just call it a relation. After we know that it's a function or relation, we ask ourselves, does it pass the horizontal line test? If it does, then it's a one-to-one function. If it doesn't, it's a many-to-one. If a relation passes the horizontal line test, it's a one-to-many. And if it fails, it's a many-to-many. Okay, so I would try and memorize this flowchart or these process of questions. So in a test that you'll understand whether a graph is one-to-one, many-to-one, one-to-many, or many-to-many. Okay, so very important. If it ends in 2, 1, it's a function. Okay, and I think once you know that, you should know the rest. And that's it for this video.